everybody? How are you? We're back. Episode 3, day 3. Here we are. Posted my video yesterday. 0 views. Now, just posting it to YouTube. I'm not sharing it on Facebook and going on to Instagram and posting it there. Part of it's, putting myself out there. Don't feel comfortable yet with people I know and and everybody who follows me. I guess that's really it. But hey, no problem. Here we are. I'm trying to do it through YouTube. Maybe catch something that goes viral. Who knows? So, no views yesterday, but that's all right. We're still here. We're still going to record, and we're going on to day 3, baby. Episode 3. Topics today. Big coaching news in the NFL. John Harbaugh out. Fired. We'll dabble on that a little bit. It's going to be the first thing we get to. Break down the NCAA football semifinals. Miami and Ole Miss, Oregon, and Indiana. And then some NCAA top 25 matchups. We got some more games tonight. Back-to-back nights where multiple teams who are in the top 25 play. I want to say there was another 7, 8, 9, 10 tonight that play. So kind of just check out some of those matchups, talk about those. One of them is my Providence Friars, baby. Huge matchup tonight against number 4, UConn, at the Amp. Jacked up for that one. Really super excited. But without further ado, the big news, the sports news yesterday that broke. John Harbaugh, after 18 seasons in Baltimore, has been let go by the team. Am I surprised? No. Not surprised. I think the team's recent success in the regular season has been really good, but they definitely let their fan base down in the postseason. Now, how much of that is John Harbaugh? I don't know. There's a lot of heartbreaking losses in those. You had the one and last year or 2 years ago in the playoffs, Mark Andrews dropping that ball. I think it was a 2-point conversion or maybe a touchdown in the end zone against the Bills. That really cost them there. Heartbreaking loss there. Then you have just a bunch of games that they just kind of choked away. So playoffs has really been disappointing for them. So I guess, when you lose, he's got, in the last 5 seasons, he's got 16 losses where they were up with 5 minutes left in the game. Just this season alone, they blew a ton of double-digit games. Patriots comes to mind, obviously, because that's my team. And watch that game. They had a double-digit lead there. Just the last game of the regular season. They were up 10-0. A lot of double-digit losses blown. And it's tough. When you keep losing like that, how much can Harbaugh change? His story, his message to the team. So, his message probably was getting a little bit stale. They needed something new, something fresh. The guy was there for 18 years, survived 2 total rebuilds. Took over, obviously. They had that elite defense. Got Joe Flacco in there. And as Ed Reed shuffled out, Terrell Suggs shuffled out, Ray Lewis shuffled out, Adi Nada shuffled out. He replaced those guys, got good players right back in. The defense has always been solid when he was there. So I think he did an excellent job. In the 18 years, he only had 3 losing seasons. That's amazing. And one of them being this past year where the kicker hits the field goal, the last second kick. 16 out of 18 years they have a winning season. That's pretty damn good. Really good run. So big story coming out of the NFL. Now, with that being said, he has been contacted by 7 different teams. And then you ask yourself, there's 7 jobs open, but one of them's Baltimore. So wouldn't it be 6? Well, according to Shefty, Adam Schefter of ESPN, teams that currently still have their head coaches has also reached out to Harbaugh's agent, asking if he has any availability or what his interest would be in the team. Now, personally, I think the team that probably has the most upside right now is the Giants. You got to think that's probably The best job. I mean, you got a good, young, promising quarterback who just had a really good rookie season. You got a stud wide receiver there in Malik Neighbors. I know he just tore his ACL, um, but he'll be back next year. You got Cam Scatterbo, who just had that brutal injury, who showed to be pretty promising, but leg injuries are running backs. You never know how they're going to bounce back, but he looked good. I mean, you got Wandale Robinson, you got Slayton, you got Tracy, you got Singletary. I mean, the offense is really good. And then you got on the defensive side, you got Burns, you got Parsons. I know Parsons didn't have the best rookie season, so maybe Harbaugh can go in and work with him a little bit, get him better. That defense definitely needs help in the secondary, without a doubt. So look for them to probably take a secondary player. I think I got to see where they're picking in the draft. I know it's top five. Caleb Downs, being an Ohio State fan, Caleb Downs is a dog, dude. He's a dog. He's the type of guy that you get in um, that safety position and is really just your facilitator on the field, the lining guys. He's really smart. He's also super talented. So I think Downs, just to start as a base there, would be a huge, huge pick for them. But I think that team probably has the most upside for Harbaugh. Atlanta is probably another good spot for him to land. I'll even say Cleveland with that defense. I mean, you're a quarterback away. So um, we'll see what Harbaugh ends up. Crazy news yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised that within the week, 2 weeks, that he's got another coaching job. So another job opening up in the NFL. Baltimore Ravens. We'll see who ends up there. Rumor has it they had a few coordinators that have left and taken jobs elsewhere. Defensive coordinator with the Chargers, defensive coordinator with the Dolphins. I don't know the names off the top of my head, but just caught that on ESPN this morning. So, yeah, see what happens in Baltimore, and we'll see what Harbaugh ends up. So, next topic here, we have a huge semifinal matchup Thursday and Friday night. First game I'm going to break down is the Oregon-Indiana game. Big Week 7 rematch. That was an awesome game. Indiana ended up pulling it off 30-20. It was tight that whole entire game, though. Back and forth. There was a few ties, few lead changes. I know it was 20-20 at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Oregon put up a touchdown there to tie it. Indiana ended up going on a 12-play, 75-yard drive, a little over 6 minutes to go up 27-20. And then Oregon had 2 possessions left, and they threw interceptions on those last 2 possessions. So really, really good game. Give you some stats from the game. Indiana had 326 total yards of offense, 215 passing, 111 rushing. They had 23 first downs. Kind of interesting here. They were 5 for 14 on third down, which Indiana's been pretty efficient all season on third down. So we'll see. We'll see how if that plays a factor into this game going on. And then Oregon had 267 total yards of offense, 186 passing, 81 rushing, which is really going to be concerning because they average 206 yards per game, right? And on top of that, their starting running back, Jordan Davidson, their leading rusher, is going to be out this game. So that's going to be huge for Oregon. They are going to have to run the ball against this Indiana team. They are really good defensively in the secondary. So we'll see how that plays out, if that plays a factor. But just to go off what Indiana's coming off of, huge victory in the Rose Bowl, obviously over Alabama, completely dominated them from start to finish, 38-3, just absolute bludgeoning. Oregon is coming off a huge win over Texas Tech, shut them out, 23-zip, and of course they beat JMU 51-34, which that score doesn't even reflect how far apart that game was. Oregon loaded and put in their backups in the second half, and that's where JMU scored all their points. They were getting absolutely dominated. I think it was like 30-something to 3 maybe at halftime. So obviously Oregon sat all their players and rested, and Yeah, so that's where we're at. Indiana puts up 41 points per game. You can obviously tell these numbers are going to be inflated just because with the bad competition. So they put up 41 points per game, 468 yards of offense, 247 passing yards per game, along with 220 yards rushing. They have a 56% conversion rate on third down. Defensively, they only give up 10.2 points per game. They give up 252 yards per game total, 178 yards passing, 73 rushing. I think that's the story of the game right there. And you saw it in that last matchup. Oregon averages over 200 yards rushing per game. That plays a huge factor into their offense. If you can make them one dimensional, and I know Dante Moore is a huge NFL prospect, and he has a lot of upside, and he's probably going to be the second quarterback taken. One of the top three, right? You got Mendoza, you got him, and you got the kid from Ole Miss. Um, Childress, I believe his last name is. He's an absolute stud. So one of those top three guys are going to be going. Moore's going to be in one of those top three. So making them one dimensional and having him put it all on his shoulders proved that couldn't happen. That they couldn't win that way last time. So maybe it's different. Second time around, I think Oregon's going to have some big adjustments for Indiana. I think Dan Lanning's a great coach, but I just think Indiana's on destiny to win the national championship. I love to see them win. I mean, this team has been horrendous for so long. And here comes this guy, Kurt Signetti, out of James Madison, that nobody, let's be realistic here, nobody had him on his radar, right? As being a great coach. And he goes into the losingest program ever in college football history. This team rattles off 1, 2, 3 win seasons consistently. And he comes in and makes them a national contender. And it is unbelievable the turnaround that he has had there. So I'm going to give the nod here to Indiana. I think it's going to be a really close game. The first one is really close. I think it's going to come down to the wire. It's at 3.5. Over unders at 46.5. So tough game there. I really don't know. I guess I'd pick Indiana to win, maybe Oregon to cover. I think it's really going to be a close 3-point game. But I think Oregon's going to have to have a better showing to win. But I think they're going to come a lot more prepared than they were last time. So see what happens there. Next game, Ole Miss versus Miami. Ole Miss and Miami, both huge upsets in the previous round. Ole Miss beat Tulane the first game 41-10, but that Georgia game was unbelievable. 39-34. They get the dub. Let me see what this kid's name is here, because I have to get this right. Ole Miss QB. Trinidad Chambliss. I mean, he is unbelievable. He is unbelievable. What a great game he had against Georgia. And I think he's going to be the reason why Ole Miss moves on here. I got Ole Miss beating Miami. I would love to see it. Miami beat Texas A&M 10-3. Huge upset over Ohio State 24-14. Everybody had this game penciled as Ohio State, Georgia. Everybody. Nobody had both of these teams winning. And Miami just dominated Ohio State at the line, which is out physical them. Big time. I mean, it was glaring. They just dominated that game. So really exciting matchup here. Let's break it down. You got Ole Miss averaging 37 points per game, 496 yards total on offense. 315 of those are passing, 180 of those are rushing, which are really good numbers in the SEC. I'm sure it's a little bit inflated with some of the bad competition they played, but really good numbers to have in the SEC overall offensively. They have a 44% conversion rate on third down, which could be concerning here because Miami does a really good job at getting off the field as their opponents only convert 31% of the time. So that could play a huge factor in this game. Opponent-wise, Ole Miss gives up 20 points per game, 340 yards total. 194 of those yards are passing and 146 rushing. which plays right into Miami's hands because they average 152 yards rushing. They average 253 yards passing, but the last 2 games, they haven't done it passing the ball. They're blocking, the offensive line, the wide receivers, just absolute dogs. Kadarius Toney, a stud freshman, elite talent out there just throwing his body on the line, opening up huge holes on the sidelines there for Lacey to run through. I'm not Lacey, the stud running back from Miami there. Name is escaping me, but just an awesome team. I think that's the difference. Third down conversions and being able to run the ball there. It's going to play right into Miami's hands. I mean, they are absolutely loaded on defense there. Jump into Miami. They average 31 points per game on offense, 405 yards total, all yards per game. Passing 253 yards passing, and like I said, 152 yards rushing. They have a 45% conversion rate on third down. Huge difference compared to Ole Miss. And defensively, I mean, they're just dogs, only giving up 13 points per game, 285 total yards on offense, 84 yards rushing, right? Ole Miss averages 180 yards rushing. So we'll see what happens there. They only give up third downs at a 31% rate on defense. I think this game's going to come down to the running game and converting on third down. Can Chambliss extend the play? Against Miami, he's a mobile quarterback, which is huge. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Ole Miss do what SMU did. SMU against Miami. SMU had the game plan where they were in the hurry up in the first half and wore out that defensive line in the second half with a similar style quarterback, right? Mobile guy, could run out the pocket, except the SMU quarterback is more of an option guy, where Chambliss can torch you down the field. He can torch you. So, statistically, I think this game plays right into Miami's hands. I'm going to take Ole Miss, and I would love to see an Ole Miss Indiana national championship, because at that point, I really wouldn't care who wins. I would love to see Ole Miss win, just to stick it in the face of Lane Kiffin. What he's doing, it's been an absolute disaster. Forcing those guys this week, the coordinators, to go back and forth to LSU and recruit players and jump in the portal and meet with new players coming in, on top of having to build a game plan for another school in a college semifinal, which is historically the best season that Ole Miss has ever had. Ton of pressure on these guys, and a lot of it's coming from Lane. So, and then on top of that, in his presser, Lane said he wants to go somewhere where he has a chance to win a national championship. Ole Miss is in the college football semifinal. Dude, I get the lure of LSU and him being growing up college football, right? His dad was a coach. He was always in the locker room, so he was always on the sidelines, and LSU was his dream job, or one of them, I guess. So for him to say that he wants to go somewhere to have a chance to win a national championship, and his team was knocking on the doorstep of one, is crazy. Now that they're in the semifinals, I hope they win this game. I hope they move on to the national championship and play Indiana. And Indiana, I'd love to see either team win. I lean more towards Indiana. But boy, what a great story it would make if Ole Miss pulled this off and just stuck it to Lane Kiffin. That would be absolutely awesome. The AD Golden there have done a great job. Golden has done an absolutely great job to keep his team focused, to keep the coordinators in on it, and have control of this team in the situation that Lane Kiffin has put him in. So shout out Golden. I hope Ole Miss wins. If Miami wins, I wouldn't mind seeing Miami either. But would love to see Ole Miss Indiana national championship. So I'm going to lean Ole Miss here. Give me the points, the 3.5, and we'll see what happens. See how it plays out. Touch on a little bit of college basketball last night. We had a few upsets. One of the number 2 team in the nation, Michigan, dominating everybody, right? Dominating. Played a young Penn State team and snuck away with the win, 2-point win last night. Almost had a massive upset there. Would have been great to see Penn State take down Michigan, but didn't happen. So that's what good teams do. They went on the road They don't have to win pretty, but they get the job done. Next big one, Duke Louisville. Man, these second halves, Duke, boy, you got to close them out. Got to close them out. Louisville was up 12, ended up losing by 11. I think they were up 12 at half. Duke battled back, give him credit. Boozer, 27 points, I think 8 boards, 4 assists, just stat stuffing. Great game by him. So, yeah, another great game. Duke pulls it off. Louisville, 2 losses in a row. Lost to Stanford, lost to Duke. You know, they're slowly dropping out of the top 25 there after having a great non-conference schedule. Florida, Georgia goes on the road and beats Florida. Georgia, being the 18th ranked team, Florida, really, I think, not getting the benefit of the doubt because of their record. Still going to be one of the top teams in the SEC. Still probably going to be a Sweet 16 team. Goes out and beats the bag out of Georgia at home, 92-77. Really wasn't really even close from the start. Iowa goes down last night by 3 to Minnesota. I'm telling you, when teams go on the road, it's tough for them to win, man, in college basketball, especially during a weeknight. See a lot of upsets here on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. So another upset last night with Iowa going down. We have Oklahoma State beat UCF. Classic letdown spot for UCF after that huge win over Kansas. Oklahoma State gets the job done. Texas Tech, Houston, another great game. Texas Tech there battled all the way through. It was close to the end. Really, nobody pulled away. That kid Fleming, the 5-star freshman that Houston has, absolutely stepped up in the second half and took over the game and led them to the victory. Tennessee pummels Texas 85-71. And then Kansas, 104-100 over TCU. This game was pretty crazy. If you missed it, 9-point game with a minute and a half left. Kansas was down, hits a 3. I got a miss, got a rebound, hit another 3 to cut it to 3. With like a few seconds left on the clock, maybe under 10 seconds. TCU goes to inbound the ball, tips off their guy, goes out of bounds. Kansas gets the ball, hits a 3, ties it with about a second left, 1.7. TCU on the inbound throws the ball from one out inbound all the way down to the other inbound, out of bounds. So Kansas gets the ball underneath the hoop, has a shot to win it at the buzzer, misses it, goes into overtime, and they end up winning 104-100. Great games last night. Great slate by those top 25 teams, and we got another bunch going on tonight. We got Iowa State, Baylor. Iowa State being a 4.5-point favorite. That's it on the road. Seems really sketchy to me. I love Iowa State this year. They're undefeated. But again, we talk about those teams going on the road in the middle of the week. Good teams get it done. Good teams win. Great teams cover. Are they going to be good? Are they going to be great? Personally, I'm falling right for the cheese, baby. I'm on Iowa State, 4.5, laying the number. Next, so we'll see how that plays out there. Next game, Washington at Purdue, 17.5-point spread. Purdue, I think, just dominates these guys. Again, West Coast teams going east, East Coast teams going west. Really hard in college basketball to do that, right? In the middle of the week. Football, different story, right? You're flying out on Thursday night, Friday night consistently. Here, you could fly out on Monday, fly back home, have to fly back out on Friday, right? In those long travel days, that's a long trip for Washington to get to Indiana. So, I'm going to go with Purdue personally to cover this game and just beat the bag out of Washington. Next game, we got Kansas State at Arizona. This is an 18.5-point spread. Arizona looking like one of the most dominant teams in the NCAA. I think they cover there pretty easily. You got Arizona State at BYU. Another big matchup. That's a 17.5-point spread. Some big spreads tonight for some of these big schools. Next game, huge game, probably the best game on the slate. Number 13 Alabama versus number 11 Vandy. Going to play huge implications on the SEC standings down the stretch here. Vanderbilt looks great, has been hot. Alabama looks great, has been hot. Could be a shootout. The total here is 180.5, 90 points each to get there. Pretty crazy, but yeah, we'll see who pulls that one out. Arkansas goes on the road to Ole Miss. Arkansas road favorites, 4.5. That game I'd be careful of. Ole Miss hasn't really been too good this season, but could pop Arkansas at home. Next game, California travels all the way to Virginia. One coast to the other. Virginia is a 12.5 point favorite. Virginia totally turned it around. Tony Bennett leaving in like 2 or 3 weeks before the season started last year. They were a dumpster fire. Don't know who took over that program, but he's done an absolute great job this year. I think they're 12-3 or something like that. Um, so really good. California's had a really good team this year so far too. I think they're a similar record to Virginia. But again, 12.5 points. It's a lot of points to lay, a lot of points to cover, a lot of points to lay, etc. But again, California going West Coast all the way to East, not easy to do. And last game of the night, SMU versus Clemson. Clemson is a -4.5 point favorite. This has trap game written all over it. Give me Clemson. I'm laying the number. SMU coming off a huge win over UNC, arguably one of the biggest wins in their program history. I think this is just a classic letdown spot. Give me Clemson -4.5 to cover. And the last one, which I didn't touch on yet, 7 o'clock tip tonight. The UConn Huskies go on the road to the Providence College Friars, baby. Friartown's going to be locked in for this one. Kim English is going to be locked in for this one. The boys are coming off a huge win against the Johnnies. It's a 10.5 point spread. UConn's obviously favorite. Let me tell you something about the AMP, formerly known as the Dunk. It's where top 5 teams go to die, baby. It's where top 5 teams go to die. Absolutely. That is one of the best, underrated, and the best home court advantages in NCAA, baby. Providence College Friars. I absolutely love them. I hope this is a huge win. They jumped 15, 16 spots in the ratings after their win over St. John's. They got to 81. This game against UConn can't get blown out, right? Can't lose by like 25, 30 because then you're going to drop in the ratings. Got to keep it close. You can still move up in the ratings. You grab another win, now we're on the bubble, baby. Maybe not next 4, maybe not the first 4 out, maybe the next 4 out, or maybe the following 4 out, but we're going to be within that 8 to 10 range of the bubble spot if they win tonight. So huge game, huge game. Personally, I'm on the under 152.5, which is crazy to say with the Friars because the Friars don't play defense at all and they can light it up. They can absolutely light it up. But I think UConn plays really good defense. They're going to try and contain the Friars as best they can. I think UConn's going to maybe struggle a little bit at the dunk in the first half, which is going to help towards the under. I personally like the under, and I don't want to touch the points because I think UConn could possibly cover. It seems sketchy, right? 10.5 points. This line, I mean, PC was just on the road. I know it was on the road at St. John's. They were 19.5 point underdogs and won out, right? But how do you go from a 19.5 point dog on the road to only a 10.5 point dog against UConn, who was a top 5 team? St. John's wasn't even ranked at the time, right? I know they're good, but they're not ranked. UConn's top 5, and it's only 10.5. That seems sketchy. So I don't want to touch the line because I think UConn can't cover. Would I be surprised if PC covers the 10.5? No, not at all. But I think what's going to kill the Friars here is what's been killing them all season. Giving up points in the paint, right? They give up a ton of points in the paint. They give up a ton of offensive rebounds. That's going to be the difference in the game tonight. I think UConn gets it done. Both teams are great from the free throw line. PC, as I couldn't tell you the stats last year in UConn, Dan Hurley always puts an emphasis on free throws. They always do the little things right. He's an absolute excellent coach. And of course, we got the history there because he came from URI and went to PC. URI and went to UConn. PC, URI have that huge rivalry. They play the first Saturday of December every year. Huge rival game. So we're familiar with Danny Hurley there. Was there, 5-6 years at URI. So yeah, give me, I'm obviously going to take the Friars. That's going totally biased, plus 10.5, but I really like the under 152.5. I'll be tuned into that one, 7 o'clock tonight on Peacock. We got John Fanta on the call. Love my boy John Fanta. So, That's all I got for you today. Loved it. Thank you. If you tuned in and you watched, thank you. Love you. Mean it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm coming back. I ain't backing down. I'll catch you. How are you?